The mining colony of Kithara 9 lay beneath a sky streaked with pale green clouds and distant stars. The wind on this barren planet carried no warmth, only the faint hiss of compressed gases escaping through the colony's hull. Lila moved through the narrow corridors of the station, her boots clicking on the metallic floor. She carried a small toolkit in one hand, and in the other a worn digital tablet filled with schematics of the transmitter. Every sound in the station felt amplified. The hum of the power core, the occasional creak of expanding metal, and her own steady breathing. Weeks had passed without a single message from Earth. Supplies were running low, tensions were growing, and every colonist tried to ignore the creeping unease that came with isolation. For Lila, the silence was unbearable. She missed the simple sound of her husband's voice, the way he laughed even when nothing was funny, and the way he would always find a solution to any problem, no matter how impossible it seemed. Commander Arik had been on a deep space mission months ago. When the Earth fleet lost contact with his ship, the official report said he was missing, presumed lost. The words never settled in her mind properly. Presumed lost, presumed. Nothing about the word felt final enough. The transmitter room smelled of ozone and metal. Lila slid open the heavy door and entered. The room was cluttered with wires, spare circuits, and blinking consoles. Sparks occasionally jumped from exposed terminals, and the low hum of the power supply reverberated through the walls. She set her toolkit down and knelt in front of the main relay panel. The screen showed static, a thick gray cloud across the display. Lila sighed and rubbed her temples. "I can fix this," she muttered to herself. "I have to." The colony depended on her skills. The transmitter wasn't just for sending personal messages. It was the lifeline for trade, emergency supplies, and updates from Earth. Without it, Kithara 9 was drifting in a silent vacuum. She picked up a pair of insulated pliers and began reconnecting wires. Sparks flew and the smell of burnt insulation filled the air. Sweat ran down her back, but she ignored it, focused entirely on the intricate work in front of her. Hours passed. Every adjustment, every test seemed to fail. Lila's fingers ached, her eyes burned from staring at the blinking lights, yet she did not stop. She had learned long ago that giving up was never an option, not when lives depended on it. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the main frequency dial, aligning it to the parameters Earth had once used. The static on the screen flickered, then dimmed. A faint signal emerged, almost imperceptible, like the soft whisper of wind through broken metal. Lila's heart skipped. She leaned closer to the console, her eyes narrowing. "Hello?" she said into the microphone. Her voice sounded strange in the empty room, amplified and distant. The static crackled louder, and then, just a faint, trembling sound. Words came through. "Lila, can you hear me?" She froze. The voice was faint, distorted, but unmistakable. Her heart pounded as if it were trying to escape her chest. She repeated the words, unsure if she was imagining it. I hear you?" Her voice shook. "Yes, it is me, Arik." Time stopped. Lila's hands trembled on the console and the pliers slipped from her grasp. She could not breathe. The words she had longed to hear, the sound of her husband's voice, came through a signal that should have been impossible. She sank to the floor, staring at the console. "Arik, how? They said you were—" "I know," the voice interrupted, calm but tired. "I was lost, but I found a way to send this message. You have to trust me. You have to fix the transmitter fully. I will guide you." Lila's mind raced. 1,000 questions bombarded her, but one thing was clear. The signal was not coming from Earth. The frequency was strange, foreign, yet somehow compatible with human technology. She scanned the data on the console, tracing the coordinates embedded in the transmission. They led to a point far beyond the known systems, a place uncharted in any human map. "Arik, where are you?" She whispered. "I am on a station, Lila. A station that is not ours. It is old, very old, and it holds something important, something you need to see." The words made her shiver. Old, important. The kind of phrases that suggested more than simple survival. They hinted at secrets, discoveries, and dangers. Lila wiped her hands on her jumpsuit and stood, a resolve settling in her chest. "I'll fix it. I'll find you," she said. The signal crackled, and then the line went dead. Lila dropped her head into her hands, feeling the weight of the silence settle over her again. But this time it was different. This was no longer a hopeless, empty silence. This was the calm before a storm, the quiet that promised something monumental. She rose, determination burning in her chest. Over the next few days, Lila worked tirelessly. She repaired circuits, rewired panels, and recalibrated the transmitter. She ignored the colony's murmurs, their doubts, and even her own fatigue. Every moment was consumed by one thought. She had to reach Arik. Every evening, she studied the coordinates embedded in the signal, tracing their path through stars and systems she had never charted. Every night, she stared at the ceiling, imagining him alive, waiting, needing her to succeed. As the repairs neared completion, strange things began to happen in the transmitter room. Lights flickered, sometimes in patterns that seemed deliberate. Consoles glowed faintly even when powered off. Occasionally, a shadow moved across the room, though she was always alone. She chalked it up to fatigue or the peculiar behavior of electrical systems on Kythera 9, but a part of her couldn't shake the feeling that someone was aware of her work. On the 7th night, she completed the final adjustments. The transmitter hummed with steady power, no longer flickering. The screen glowed and the coordinates pulsed like a heartbeat. Lila activated the receiver, holding her breath. Static filled the air, thick and harsh, and then the faint, familiar voice came again. "Lila, you've done it." "I knew you would." Tears filled her eyes. She spoke into the microphone, her voice trembling but strong. "I'm coming. Tell me what I need to do." Arik's voice was calm but urgent. "You must travel to the location of the signal. It is farther than we've ever gone. I cannot guide you fully. You must use your mind, your skills. Trust yourself. Trust us." The words sent a shiver down her spine, farther than they had ever gone. Yet Lila felt no fear, only resolve. She packed her shuttle with supplies, tools, and her tablet filled with schematics and star charts. Every piece of her training and experience would be needed. Every instinct would be tested. As she prepared to leave, the colony watched her quietly. Some doubted, some worried, but all understood her determination. Lila didn't look back. She climbed into the small shuttle, the hum of its engines filling the cabin. Her hands gripped the controls and she set the coordinates exactly as the signal had instructed. The shuttle lifted, leaving the gray surface of Kythera 9 behind. Below her, the colony became a distant pattern of lights and metal, dwarfed by the vastness of the universe. Stars stretched out in every direction, some familiar, some strange. Their light filtered through the planet's green-tinted atmosphere. Lila focused on the course ahead, knowing that each moment brought her closer to answers, closer to the man she had thought lost. The journey was quiet, broken only by the soft hum of the engines and the occasional flicker of the control panel. Yet in the quiet, Lila felt a presence, an invisible thread connecting her to Arik, guiding her through the void. Every decision, every adjustment seemed to fall into place with precision, as if the universe itself was aiding her. Hours stretched into days. She navigated through asteroid fields, gravitational anomalies, and cosmic storms. Her shuttle shook violently at times, warning alarms blaring. But Lila's skill kept it steady. She repaired failing circuits mid-flight, adjusted shields against strange radiation, and monitored the coordinates from the signal. Her body ached, her eyes burned, yet she refused to stop. She would not fail. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the shuttle emerged from the edge of a pulsating nebula into a region of space that seemed untouched by human presence. Floating in the void was a station, massive and silent, with a structure that was both alien and somehow familiar. Its surface glowed faintly, lines of energy running like veins across its hull. Lila's breath caught in her throat. This is it," she whispered. Her hands trembled as she guided the shuttle closer. Docking ports opened automatically, responding to her presence as if expecting her. She took a deep breath, gripping the controls, and prepared to step into the unknown. Somewhere inside that station, Arik was waiting. She had no idea what she would find, what challenges lay ahead, or how much danger she would face. All she knew was that she would not turn back. The distance between them, the silence of months, the impossible odds, they meant nothing. Lila's heart was set on one truth. She would reach him. She would bring him home. And as the shuttle docked with a gentle hiss, Lila felt a strange sense of calm settle over her. Whatever lay beyond that door, she was ready. The adventure, the mystery, the reunion, they were all beginning now. The docking bay was vast, filled with shadows cast by the strange glow of the station's hull. Lila's shuttle shivered slightly as magnetic clamps latched it securely. She exhaled slowly, gripping the control panel until her knuckles turned white. The silence inside the station was heavy, almost alive. It pressed against her ears, filling the cabin with a sense of anticipation and unease. Every sound she made echoed distant and hollow. Lila unstrapped herself and stood, taking in the enormous bay. The walls were lined with glowing panels, some of which pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Strange conduits ran along the floor and ceiling, carrying unknown forms of energy. There were no signs of life, no doors opening, no machines whirring with human familiarity. Yet the place felt familiar. Somehow the architecture echoed the designs Arik had admired, the kind he had always called elegant in its simplicity. She stepped cautiously, her boots clanging against the metallic floor. The air was breathable, filtered by systems that seemed operational despite the station's abandoned appearance. Lila kept her toolkit in hand, ready for anything, and her tablet scanned the environment. The device struggled to process the alien technology, but Lila's engineering knowledge allowed her to make sense of it. Every panel, every glowing line seemed to react to her presence, shifting subtly as if acknowledging her entry. The signal from Arik had guided her here, but it was no longer strong. She moved through the corridors, following faint energy traces embedded in the walls. Strange symbols and patterns decorated the station, glowing softly in colors she could barely describe. Some looked like writing, some like diagrams, and some like star maps of entire galaxies. The station itself seemed to be alive, a network of intelligence both vast and patient. After what felt like hours, she arrived at a massive chamber. The door was unlike anything she had seen before, smooth, almost liquid in appearance, with no handle or key. A faint hum radiated from its surface, and a soft blue light glowed behind it. Lila approached carefully, placing her hand on the door. Instantly, the panels reacted, and the door slid open with a whispering hiss. Inside, the room was vast, filled with floating holograms and consoles that hovered mid-air. In the center of the room was a figure suspended in a containment field, surrounded by arcs of soft blue light. Lila froze, her heart pounding. Her breath caught in her throat. The figure was tall, with familiar features, but altered in ways she couldn't immediately recognize. His hair was slightly longer, his eyes glowed faintly, and there were intricate patterns of light running across his skin, almost like circuitry. Yet the warmth of his expression, the subtle curve of his smile, was unmistakable. "Arik," she whispered, her voice trembling. The figure's eyes opened, and he looked directly at her. His voice came, amplified and calm, but unmistakably his. "Lila, you came." Tears welled up in her eyes. She stepped closer, unable to stop herself. How is this possible?" "You were missing. I thought I was lost," Arik interrupted softly. "But not gone. The station found me, preserved me in ways I could never have imagined. It is old, far older than anything humans have built. It has knowledge, power, and a purpose. I was chosen to survive." Lila's mind raced, trying to comprehend what she was seeing. Her husband was alive, yet changed. He was both human and something beyond human. Augmented with technology she had never seen, yet still entirely him. She reached out instinctively, her fingers brushing the energy field that separated them. A gentle vibration ran through her fingertips, and Arik's eyes softened. "You are real," she whispered, more to herself than to him. "Yes," he said. "And you are the one who brought me back." The room itself seemed to respond to her words. Holographic panels shifted, forming patterns and diagrams that pulsed gently. Lila realized the station was communicating, not just storing information, but interacting, testing her, guiding her. It was alive in a way that made her pulse quicken with both fear and awe. "What is this place?" she asked, stepping closer. Her curiosity was stronger than her fear. "This station is a preservation archive," Arik explained. "It was built by a civilization that existed long before humans. Its purpose is to preserve intelligent life, to store knowledge, to protect those who are chosen. I was selected. It integrated my essence with its systems, enhancing my mind and body, but keeping me conscious. I have been here for months, Lila, waiting for someone who could reach me." Lila's chest tightened. The station had kept him alive, yes, but in a form she barely recognized. She had to find a way to bring him fully back, to restore him without losing the essence of who he was. Can I help?" she asked softly. Arik's gaze was steady. "Yes, but it will not be simple. The station tests those who enter. It evaluates intentions, knowledge, and will. If we fail, it may never release me fully, or worse, it may shut down entirely." Lila nodded, determination hardening in her chest. "Then we will not fail." We can do this together. The containment field began to pulse, responding to their combined presence. Holographic panels floated closer, revealing strange symbols and sequences. Lila studied them carefully. Some were scientific formulas, others star charts, and others seemed like instructions, but in a language she had never seen. Yet her human mind, trained in logic and pattern recognition, began to make sense of them. Step by step she deciphered the codes. As they worked together, the station responded. Doors opened to reveal new chambers filled with alien devices, each more complex than the last. Energy flowed along conduits, pulsing in patterns that were both beautiful and precise. Lila realized that the station was not just testing her technical skill, but her intuition, her creativity, and her courage. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Lila felt exhausted yet exhilarated. Every challenge they faced required both her human ingenuity and Auric's enhanced guidance. At one point, a sudden surge of energy forced her to leap aside, her toolkit flying from her hands. Sparks erupted and panels glowed red, warning of an overload. She steadied herself, recalibrated the systems, and the warning lights dimmed. Auric watched her, his glowing eyes filled with pride. Your mind, your determination, it is what allows this station to work with us. Humans have something this place does not fully understand: intuition, courage, and the drive to act against impossible odds. That is why you are here, Lila. Her heart swelled with emotion. For all the advanced technology, for all the alien knowledge, it was her humanity that made the difference. She realized then that the station's purpose was not just preservation, it was also a test, a measure of who could wield its power responsibly. And Lila had proven herself step by step, through courage and ingenuity. As night, or something like night, fell inside the station, the room glowed softly, bathing them in a pale light. Lila and Auric worked in silence, connected by a shared focus. They discovered new systems, unlocking hidden compartments filled with knowledge about distant stars, alien species, and advanced technologies. Every discovery seemed to deepen their bond, bridging the months of absence and the unimaginable experiences they had endured separately. Finally, they reached the central console, a massive panel that hummed with energy. Auric guided her hands to the controls. This is the core. If we activate it, it can fully restore me, release me from the containment field. But it is delicate. One mistake and the system may reject me, or worse, collapse entirely. Lila's hands shook as she reached for the controls. She looked into Auric's eyes, seeing not just the man she loved, but the symbol of hope, courage, and human determination. I trust you, he said softly. I trust us, she replied. Step by step, she followed the instructions, combining human intuition with the alien system's logic. Energy surged around them, filling the room with blinding light and humming vibrations. Lila's heart raced, her mind focused on each movement, each connection, ensuring everything was perfect. The station seemed to respond, its pulse syncing with theirs. Then, with a final flash, the containment field dissipated. Auric stepped forward, fully human again, though traces of the station's enhancements remained in subtle ways: sharper reflexes, brighter awareness. Lila threw her arms around him, holding him tightly, feeling the warmth and reality of his presence. I'm here, he whispered, his voice steady and warm. I'm really here. Tears ran down her face. Relief, joy, and disbelief mingled as she held him. The station glowed softly around them, as if acknowledging their success. They had not only reunited, but had proven that human ingenuity, courage, and love could overcome even the most alien challenges. As they stepped back, taking in the vast chamber, Lila realized the journey was far from over. The station held countless secrets, knowledge that could change the course of human history. But for now, the most important thing was true. Auric was alive, and she had reached him. She looked at him, her heart full, and declared softly but firmly, "That's my husband." Auric smiled, holding her hand. "And you are the human who made all this possible." For the first time in months, Lila felt peace. Yet she knew the universe held more mysteries, more challenges, and more discoveries. But with Auric by her side, she also knew that humans had something that no machine or alien intelligence could match: courage, ingenuity, and the unyielding drive to fight for what mattered. The station hummed around them, a silent witness to the reunion, the The station hummed quietly around them, alive in ways that still fascinated and unnerved Lila. Despite the relief of finding Arik, she knew their journey was far from over. The central chamber, now empty of its containment field, revealed more of the station's complex design: floating panels, energy conduits, and strange holographic symbols that pulsed gently like a living organism. Lila could feel it watching them, assessing them, challenging them. Arik stepped closer, taking her hand. "We've done well, Lila, but this station has more to teach us. There are secrets here that could change everything we know about the universe. I think it wants us to learn to understand." Lila nodded, her resolve firm. "Then we will. Together." They moved through corridors that twisted and curved in impossible ways, the walls pulsing with a faint blue light. The station seemed to anticipate their movements. Doors opened before they reached them. Panels shifted as if to guide their path, and energy flowed around them in patterns that defied human logic. Yet Lila felt a strange sense of calm. For all its alienness, the station responded to human intuition, and hers, combined with Arik's guidance, was enough to navigate it. They reached a massive observation chamber. The room was circular, its walls transparent, revealing a dying star in the distance, surrounded by a web of gravitational anomalies and floating debris. The star's light bathed the room in golden hues, casting long, shifting shadows across the floor. Lila felt a shiver of awe. It was a breathtaking view, beautiful and dangerous all at once. "The station orbits this star," Arik explained. "It has been here for eons, preserving knowledge, studying the universe, and protecting life. It is sentient in ways we cannot fully comprehend. It communicates through patterns, energy, and now, through us." Lila studied the energy patterns in the room. Some pulses mirrored their own heartbeats, some shifted according to their movements. The station seemed to measure their intentions, their decisions, and even their emotions. It was testing them, not just for skill, but for humanity. Arik guided her to a central console. Holographic panels floated above it, displaying systems, star maps, and sequences of alien symbols. "This is the core interface," he said. "It can reveal the station's knowledge, but it will only share with those it deems worthy. We have to synchronize with it, combine human intuition with logical precision." Lila nodded, placing her hands on the console. Energy surged gently under her palms, responding to her touch. She began deciphering the symbols, using pattern recognition and logic to connect sequences. Arik assisted, providing insight from his enhanced perception. Together they unlocked new panels, revealing more of the station's secrets. Hours passed. They discovered star charts of uncharted systems, alien technologies designed to harness energy from stars, and recordings of civilizations long gone. Lila realized the station had preserved not just life, but knowledge. Knowledge meant to guide and protect intelligent species. It was a gift, but also a responsibility. Suddenly, the room trembled. Lights flickered, and a low rumble echoed through the station. Arik's eyes widened. Something is happening. "The station is reacting. We may have triggered a failsafe or awakened a dormant system." The energy panels around them shifted violently. Pulses of light raced along the walls, converging toward the central console. Lila's heart pounded. "What do we do?" Arik grabbed her hand, steadying her. "We continue. Trust yourself. Trust us." They synchronized with the console, inputting commands, aligning energy conduits, and interpreting alien logic. The station pulsed faster, testing them, pushing their limits. Panels displayed rapid sequences of symbols, some incomprehensible at first. Lila's mind worked furiously, recognizing patterns, predicting sequences, and adjusting their inputs. Arik provided guidance, his voice calm but urgent. Suddenly, a massive energy surge erupted, throwing Lila to the floor. Sparks flew from the console and the room shook violently. Arik helped her up, his enhanced strength steadying her. "Keep going," he shouted. "We're close." Lila's hands flew over the controls. Sweat ran down her face, her breaths came in sharp gasps, but she refused to stop. Every instinct, every skill she had honed over years of engineering guided her movements. The station's energy seemed to respond to her determination, pulses of light aligning with her input. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, a surge of calm spread through the room. The panels glowed steadily, the energy conduit stabilized, and the station seemed to hum in satisfaction. Lila and Arik exchanged a look of exhausted triumph. They had succeeded. The central console displayed a new projection, a map of distant galaxies with routes, resources, and knowledge waiting to be explored. The station had shared its secrets with them, recognizing their courage, intelligence, and humanity. Lila felt a swell of pride. They had not only reunited but had proven that human determination, ingenuity, and cooperation could unlock the mysteries of the universe. Arik turned to her, his expression softening. "You did this, Lila, your mind, your courage, your heart. That is what allowed this station to trust us." Lila smiled, tears filling her eyes. "We did it together. We both trusted each other, and that made the difference." The station's energy shifted again, forming a path toward a smaller chamber. Inside, they found devices that could analyze and enhance biological life, systems that could repair or augment human physiology safely. Lila realized that the station could provide tools to help humanity thrive, to survive in ways they had never imagined. Yet even in this moment of triumph, danger lingered. The station was alive, sentient, and powerful. If misused, it could be catastrophic. Lila and Arik understood that their responsibility had only grown. They had been given knowledge and access, but with it came a duty to protect, to guide, and to act wisely. "We need to document everything," Lila said. "Every system, every sequence, every discovery. Humanity must learn from this, but carefully. We can't let it fall into the wrong hands." Arik nodded. "Agreed. And we must return to Kithera 9 first. The colony needs us, and this knowledge must be shared responsibly." They began working together, mapping out the station's systems, recording sequences, and stabilizing energy flows. The process was painstaking, requiring patience, precision, and focus. But with each task, Lila felt a growing confidence. She realized that humans were not powerless in the face of the unknown. Their adaptability, intuition, and courage were strengths even the most advanced systems could not fully predict or replicate. As they worked, the station pulsed around them, almost as if observing, approving their choices. Lila felt a strange connection, a thread linking human determination with alien intelligence. It was a partnership, fragile yet powerful, built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Hours turned into days. They documented systems, stabilized energy conduits, and tested devices. Arik guided her through enhanced calculations, showing her patterns she could never have predicted alone. Together, they unlocked pathways to knowledge, preparing to bring it safely back to humanity. Finally, after days of meticulous work, they reached the final chamber. It contained a core system, the heart of the station's intelligence. The console glowed with energy, projecting a complex web of stars, systems, and symbols. Lila approached carefully, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. "This is it," Arik said softly. "The core contains everything. But it is also the most delicate. One wrong move and we could lose everything." Lila nodded, placing her hands on the console. She felt the energy flow through her, aligning with her heartbeat, her intentions, and her focus. The station responded to her touch, pulsing gently, waiting. Step by step, she followed the patterns, inputting sequences, aligning conduits, and synchronizing with the core. Arik guided her, his voice steady, his presence reassuring. The energy grew stronger, enveloping them in a soft golden glow. Suddenly, the core projected a holographic image of Earth, pinpointing Kithera 9 and other colonies. Data streamed rapidly, showing resources, star routes, and potential threats. Lila realized that the station had given them not only knowledge but the power to protect humanity, to guide its expansion safely through the stars. Tears filled her eyes. She glanced at Arik, who smiled softly, pride and love shining in his gaze. "We did it," he whispered. "Yes," Lila replied, her voice trembling. "We really did." The station hummed around them, acknowledging their success. The energy pulses slowed, the corridors settled, and the system stabilized. Lila realized that the tests were over. They had proven themselves worthy, not only of finding each other, but of wielding the station's knowledge responsibly. As they prepared to return to their shuttle, Lila took one last look at the vast chamber, the glowing panels and the holographic maps. She felt a sense of awe and gratitude. Humanity had been given a gift, a chance to survive, explore, and thrive. And it had been human courage, determination, and love that had unlocked it. Arik held her hand as they stepped into the shuttle. Kithera 9 awaits. He has the shuttle lifted from the station, the view of the dying star and the vastness of space stretched before them. They had faced the unknown, reunited against impossible odds and unlocked secrets beyond comprehension, and now they returned not just as husband and wife but as pioneers, bearers of knowledge and proof that human ingenuity and courage could triumph in